if the Giants drafted a quarterback with their 6th overall pick, creating, Peter, even more interesting dynamic in that quarterback room.
So Daniel Jones, who hasn't said a peep and hasn't done anything publicly in 3 years, 4 years in New York, hasn't made a single headline, sits there like this with a backpack and a JanSport, is on stage at the Zach Bryan concert going absolutely wild and singing all the lyrics. I'm like, where has that been? Did it take an ACL and a Tommy DeVito resurgence to see a little bit of personality? And maybe that's what they see in the building and we don't get every day here on the outside, that there is a personality to Daniel Jones and he is maturing and he is developing into a bit of an individual himself who's got a little something to him. But I just got to look at that team, and I'm like, Drew Lock is going to push him. I think Drew Lock had a really good Monday night performance last year when they beat the Eagles when he was in Seattle, and I think there's a lot of respect for Drew Lock for the way he played and the way he handled that. And I have to think they're going into this thing with coming off an ACL and basically the final year of Daniel Jones' contract because there's so many ways out of it. It won't be a true competition, but you better believe if Daniel Jones does a couple hiccups here, Joe Shane and those guys, they didn't draft him. They did re-sign him. But I don't think they're going to go down and burn with Daniel Jones if it doesn't look good early on. I think this is going to be a battle all season long, and Drew Lock is going to be a fan favorite out of the get-go. 6th overall pick, though, is where I'm looking. 6th overall pick right now, if you look at the mock drafts, you're looking at a potential of, maybe Drake May slips to you if you're lucky. Maybe J.J. McCarthy's still on the board. Or you might have to move up and get one of those two guys, or even a Jaden Daniels if he happens to slip out of the 2 spot. Question I have for Giants fans is, if J.J. McCarthy's on the board at 6, and that's the exact spot you took Daniel Jones a couple years ago, and it wasn't the first quarterback off the board in that draft, and this wouldn't be the first quarterback off the board in this draft, are you going all in on J.J. McCarthy at quarterback? Or are you doing what would be the more prudent thing and just protect? Protect. This is a great offensive line draft. This is such a good offensive line draft. If a guy like Joe Alt or Fuaga from Oregon State is there, you can't miss if you take just a building block offensive tackle and you add it to Andrew Thomas and you add it to Evan Neal and you continue to build that offensive line. It's whether or not you love McCarthy. If you love McCarthy, take him and you just say, this is our guy. We drafted him. He is ours. This is Shane and Dable's quarterback. And if it's not, well, then maybe you just take offensive line, you kick the can down the road, and you say, Daniel Jones has got 2 more years on this deal. If he's no good in this season, we can get rid of him. Drew Lock's there, and there's always going to be other quarterbacks in free agency and move on. J.J. McCarthy or pass? That's the question if I'm a Giants fan. And I don't even know where those big blue fans lie right now. I think they're split, too.
And I think the tough thing is we saw Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft, and he had somebody moving up to get J.J. McCarthy. So if you're saying, all right, one of those 4, if they fall to 6, but there's a chance that somebody falls in love with J.J. and they move up to get him. So I look at that, and I would be shocked if the Giants go quarterback at 6, because you just made a great point of they have holes that they need to fill. You talked about the offensive line and having a quarterback there that doesn't have to run around for his life and feel like he has to make plays. So I look at it for the Giants, go that direction. You've committed to Daniel Jones. You've brought in Drew Lock. You brought in Russell Wilson to have conversations with him. So we've seen him kind of flirt with it. They've gone through and evaluated these quarterbacks, but you have another season in Daniel Jones. You believed in him in that first year under Dable and Joe Shane, and you saw some growth for him. So move forward with this. I think build a team in place, and a year from now, 2 years from now, if you're in a position to get a quarterback in free agency or through the draft, you've now built a team around him to take over, similar to what we'll probably see from Caleb Williams at that number 1 pick. For the Bears, you didn't finish dead last in the NFL. You have a roster that won some games. So when you plug Caleb Williams in, you trade for a Keenan Allen, you have pieces around them. For the New York Giants, continue to build those pieces around whoever the future quarterback is going to be. And for Drew Lock, we heard John Snyder, the general manager for the Seahawks, say, hey, we wanted Drew back, but he was told different things by the Giants, and he felt he had a better chance to compete. So you have 2 guys in that room that you feel like can lead the team. So I think for that reason, you go and you get another position that you think is a surefire to be a part of your franchise.
We didn't mention wideout, and in all these mock drafts, they haven't taken Neighbors, or they have him going even with a Dunze. I didn't mention wideout just because Giants first-round wide receiver, besides Odell Beckham, I don't have a long list of guys that's traditionally what they would do. wide receiver to the Giants?
Yeah, they got Jalen Hyatt. They have Darius Slayton. They don't have that true, like, number one guy. Hyatt can run, but they need a guy. Line him up out there, X. It's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. We can drop back at 3-by-1 and go to him. They definitely could use an outside weapon. Waller hasn't hit the way they thought that was going to be. Kyle, what do you got? Thoughts on the Giants?
I can't believe that Luke Bryan video. I'm like with Peter. What is that?
I said
is
Zach.
this AI?
Is it Zach or
did they say make a video with Daniel Jones on stage? This is real?
Zach.
Is this ChatGPT video? Like, I can't believe it. It wouldn't shock me more if he did a stage dive and bit the head off a bat. What the hell is this, Daniel Jones? I like it, and yet, guys, isn't it kind of perfect that he's like the backup lead singer here? He's kind of like, oh, should I go in? Yeah, maybe I'll go back in the bench. All right, is this okay? Is this all right? Yeah, I'll go back to the bench. There's so much going on here, and great job talking Giants. Next time, have your phone horizontal. The question, would it shock me if the Giants drafted a quarterback? No, nothing would shock me. I'm looking around. I see these quarterbacks. I see 2024. It wouldn't shock me if the Texans drafted a first-round quarterback. It wouldn't shock me if the Chiefs drafted a first-round quarterback. There's no shock. I think it would surprise me a little bit, because they just don't do it much. I feel like the Giants with first-round quarterbacks are like the Steelers with coaches. There's just eras, like these long eras between which they take their time drafting quarterbacks. But also, I would say if you're going to, I'm kind of where Peter's going. If you're going to draft one, don't just sit there. Move the hell up. Like, 6 is not the spot to be. We had DJ's mock yesterday, went 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody walking around on the sidewalk thinks it's going 1, 2, 3. So where do you go if you're the Giants and you say, yeah, I think we're feeling nuts, let's go get it? Because I don't think the first 3 spots are doing it. I don't think Commanders or Pats are moving at all. That's quarterback city. Then you got the Cardinals and the Chargers sitting at 4 and 5 if you want to feel like you need to move up from McCarthy, because the Vikings are sitting there waiting, and now we're all intrigued by them, and they have way more to offer than the Giants. So then you get jumped. So it would take a lot for them to get a first-round quarterback. They don't have the right pick to do it, so they'd have to move up to get it. I think more than likely they'll stay with Jones and the Drew Lock. And, look, I know Brian Daboll wasn't there when they drafted him, but he sure was there when they extended him. Like, he's got his hands on this thing. And I also feel like it's like, you can't just buy your way out of this thing. You guys, about 20 minutes ago, it feels like, decided to give Daniel Jones like $100-some million. Daniel Jones. So, like, you got to wear that. Maybe next year, sure, if he doesn't play well, but you have to wear that. You paid him that deal. You gave him that deal. You got to go to battle with him. Get him a tight end. Get him a tackle or something and see how it goes. But I wouldn't be shocked. But knowing that team is usually pretty conservative and they will rally behind Daniel, that they've said for a year, I think they're going to sit there and do what Peter's saying. They may even move back. Who the hell knows? But I think they'll be Daniel Jones, their starting quarterback this year.
Yeah, those are all valid thoughts, especially with Daniel Jones' contract from around this time last year. Kyle, can we scoot back to how Peter started the segment, which is like, or maybe you said it off camera, you're like, man, Drew Lock, like, I like this kid. I had some of his games when he was in college. His personality is awesome. And maybe we've stumbled into a Drew Lock scenario a la Geno Smith, which is like Drew Lock goes to Denver. He's got to start. He isn't handed great situations. He gets traded. He's got to sit, almost wins the job, loses it to Geno Smith. We see this resurgence of Geno Smith. Can we just give Drew Lock a minute on, like, the personality and, frankly, the carefree nature, it seems, of his approach to being a professional now, which is like, I'm just here to support the team, and might that come with an improvement in his game because he's gotten older and matured?
Well, the big maturity was his press conference, because Schneider says that in a throwaway interview in Seattle. It literally happened 3,000 miles away, and he's like, I think Drew got, a chance to compete. And I don't... Drew Lock's like, no, I'm under the impression that Daniel Jones is the starter, which completely nullifies this crazy flame. And it's like, veteran, mature, smart.
True.
That's how you handle that. Now, if you want to go out and beat him on the field, but you're coming in and you're giving under the impression that Daniel Jones and his Zach Bryan concert going party self is the guy. Zach Bryan. We got to hear that in the break.
Yeah, we should. Let's refresh. It was like he had his hands in his hoodie, and we're like, I wanted him to commit,
He
like,
was out there.
Go all in. He was out there.
To be in the corner. Like,
he was up there, Peter.
He was up there.